What's going on, guys? It's Matthew here with Gadget University, and I wanted to finally give you a review of the Motorola Droid RAZR. It's been out for about a month now. This came out on November 11th, 2011. Actually, the same day that I got married. But this phone is actually pretty good. If looking at it straight ahead, you can obviously see that it has a beautiful display. It is a QHD resolution Super AMOLED screen. This is the first time they've actually used Super AMOLED in a phone, and that actually contributes to the fact that this phone is extremely thin. I believe it's about 7.1 millimeters thin, and they wouldn't have been able to achieve this without a Super AMOLED screen. And you can see this phone has a very wide profile. It's 4.3 inches, the screen is, and because of that you can see that the overall width of the phone is extremely wide. Let's see, and compare it to a Nexus S. You can see it still kind of sticks out a little bit, and it's extremely thin, so it's kind of awkward to hold, I will say that, but it's not too bad. I actually didn't have much trouble with it holding it. It was one of those things where the phone is actually large anyway, so accessing all of the options in the taskbar across the top was kind of awkward. But back to the screen, you can see already that the screen has incredible colors. Let me zoom in a little bit here. I wanted to show you guys something. Thanks to Marquez Brown Lee, the MKBHD YouTube channel. I've been watching him lately, and he did a screen test with the Galaxy Nexus, and you can see here. Let me pull up the gallery. There's the pictures that I actually took with the camera. Let me go to my library. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to show you these black levels. Now, if you look really close, you can't even tell the screen is on. When there's black being shown on the screen, it's being shown. Let me set this as my wallpaper. Set as wallpaper. Uh-oh, messed that up. This is a deadmau 5 wallpaper that he found. I have no idea what's going on here. Set as wallpaper. There we go. Alright, I got it set up. So, if you look, actually if I'm looking through the screen right now and I see a little bit of distortion. I think it's the reflection. But if you look on the screen, where it's black, it's black. It almost looks like the screen is off, which is very good because it saves on battery life. Inside it has a very large 1700 milliamp battery. Battery life has been great so far. I'm in the 3G area, so I've gotten more than the average person. I've gotten probably about 7 to 8 hours. Overall performance of the phone has a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core OMAP processor, and it is extremely fast. Loading pages, I didn't have any problem loading any pages, anything like that. If you look right here, it's about to come up. One of my other favorite websites, The Verge. I'm going to pull this up here, full site. And web browsing, I'm on Wi-Fi right now, which is actually kind of slow right now for some reason. But if you look, you get a lot of pixels in this QHD screen, and the colors, everything is really true. Everything looks great. Still kind of loading. There we go. All right, it's done loading. Now you see right now, it's actually kind of laggy a little bit. This is a very busy website, so this is a real-world experience of what you would get. I found that it's very laggy sometimes when you're on the web browser. Although it's kind of, really nice to look at, it's still very kind of laggy. I'm not sure why it does that. The large screen and display make it great to watch movies on, and the best way to do that would be through the Motocast. Basically, when you plug your phone up to your computer, you're going to get an install actually built into the phone for software called Motocast, And the way you access Motocast is you actually go to your gallery and you touch the Motocast icon down there, and you can actually sync particular folders up to your phone. So if you look here, I actually pulled up my TV shows folder, and let's pull up an episode of Parks and Rec. I'm doing Parks and Rec only because I know that it'll play. It doesn't play any codecs that you have on your computer, like DivX codecs or anything like that. If you don't have those installed on your computer, it won't play. I have all the codecs installed, so it plays just fine. And as you can see right here, it looks awesome.
Cut it out, Tom.
Now,
it never gets old.
you just look at the quality.
Ron Swanson. Tom Haverford.
Tommy Timberlake.
April Ludgate.
My mom's Puerto Rican. That's why I'm so lively and colorful.
And Andy Dwyer.
Okay. Great show if you haven't watched it. Motocast is very cool because it actually doesn't put things on the cloud. It just, your computer has to be on, of course, and you just stream directly to your phone. If you have in a 4G area, it's the perfect way to watch movies on the go, TV shows, things like that. Everything else is pretty much standard. You have the Moto Print app where you can print directly to a printer. As you can see, I have not set it up yet, but it's really easy to add a printer. You just basically connect it to the same Wi-Fi network as the printer. If it's a wireless printer and it's set up, that's it. So it found the printer and it's online, so I just select it. As simple as that. You can print things from the web, contacts, saved emails, anything. And makes your phone really like a computer. A lot of people don't really think too much about printing things from their phone, but after using the iPhone, I found that it's very useful to print from your phone. Let's do a little test here with Quadrant, so you can see what kind of specs it's getting here. It does very well on the 3D graphic rendering. You'll see in a moment. As you see, it's peaking at about 65 frames per second. Not on this part, obviously. .67, there it goes. Yeah, so it does pretty well in the 3D rendering. Alright. And it just pulled off a 2592. Which is pretty good. I got an N22 benchmark. Right now it is testing the CPU and memory. Just going to take a moment for that. While I was doing that, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the phone. On the front, you have a 1.3 megapixel camera for front-facing, chat, things like that. On the top, you have your HDMI, and you have your micro USB slot. On the back, you have an 8 megapixel camera that's capable of shooting 1080p video and a LED flash. Also, you have your speaker grill for your videos, and you have your Kevlar back here, which is very nice. It's actually got a nice little soft feel to it. Feels great in the hand. And you have your Verizon logo, and you have your FCC stamping and all that stuff right there. On the right, this is where all the action is. You have your volume button up and down, and your power wake sleep button. And on the left, there's no buttons, but there is a slot. This is where your micro 4G LTE card goes. Also, you have your IMEI information just in case you need to send it in to Verizon or anything. And you have your micro SD card slot right here, where my thumb is right here. So you still have a lot of features here, so it's still expandable. Even though the battery is not removable, the micro USB slot is accessible for expanding memory. Right here, it comes with a 16 gig as well. Also right here you have your 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the bottom, just like every other Android phone that's running Gingerbread, you have your buttons, your back, sleep, search, your back, search, home, and menu button. And it looks like it is almost done with the 3D rendering. And Tutu is a little bit more in depth, so it's going to take a moment. It looks like it's peaking at about 54 frames per second. Okay, and I guess while I was doing that, I'll go ahead and do another size comparison here. I'm going to take off my case on my iPhone. Yeah, forget it. Okay, alright, so it looks like it registered at about 777 megabytes of RAM, and it got a 5730, which is pretty good. You can also test the battery with this app too if you're interested in doing that. Like I said, battery life was pretty good. Now, other than that, you're basically running Android 2.3.5. You have the G Talk with video on here, so you can do video chat if you need to. Also, it has the new version of Motor Blur, so the lock screen is a little bit different. It's kind of like the Droid 3. Everything's very smooth, very fluid. Motor Blur is actually getting better. I didn't think it was that big of a deal on the Droid 3, and I think it's getting less obtrusive here. But if you go to the Smart Actions, you're getting some pretty cool options. This is actually where you can set up things to be triggered by your GPS location or other actions like time of the day or things like that. So if I get to work, I can have a message automatically sent to my wife saying I made it to work. At nighttime between the hours of 10 and 6, I can have all my data turned off. Basically, I can save my battery while I'm sleeping. There's a lot of cool things here because it's one of those things where you get to a location, you can have it automatically send a text message, dim your brightness down, turn off your ringer, things like that. It's very, very useful. One of my favorite features on here. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. There's not much else to the phone. It's a great buy, really. There's other options on Verizon that might be better, but if you're looking for a thin form factor and a great media experience, this is definitely a choice. Alright, I'll see you on my next video. If you're feeling like you like the video, please like it. If you don't, tell me why. See you later. Peace.